Member for McMahon.
Thanks very much, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Treasurer. Brian Abbott of St Clair is 39, single, with no children. He works but doesn't earn enough to pay income tax. Brian wrote to me on Tuesday. He wrote, "People relying on their savings, not claiming welfare payments and not paying tax are likely to be significantly impacted by a rise in the GST and not compensated for it. How would the government compensate people like Brian for increasing the price of everything by jacking the GST up to 15%?
The Treasurer has the call.
Well, thank you, Mr Speaker. I thank the member for Fowler for his question. Sorry, it's not the member for Fowler. It's member for McMahon. I'm getting ahead of myself. Maybe you are. Maybe you are. Mr Speaker,
Treasurer
I
will
thank
come
the member for his
to the
question.
substance of the question.
I thank the member for his question.
The member for Greenway will cease interjecting. The member for Greenway will cease interjecting. The Treasurer has the call.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I thank the member for his question, and I refer him to the experience. Refer him to the experience of when the Howard Costello government introduced changes to the tax system. Now, the reason I have to refer to that experience is because the government has no such proposal that the opposition is referring to. Those who have raised these issues about the GST are actually state governments and former state Labor premiers, and perhaps he would like to discuss those issues with some of his colleagues at the state level about these issues. But, Mr Speaker, when the tax system was changed back in 2000, there was not one single change, there were many changes. Taxes were cut. People's living standards increased. Our economy grew. We actually removed the shackles off people that were holding back their economic progress. And, Mr Speaker, I don't understand why those opposite would not want to engage in a serious discussion about how that can be achieved again, how you can have a better tax system. Mr Speaker. Now, some 15 years ago, that was the last time we were at risk of the average wage earner in this country going into the second highest tax bracket. It was 15 years ago, and the Howard Costello government did something about it. They did something about it, and they introduced a range of changes to the tax system, cutting taxes across the board, state and federal level, to leave people who were working and people also, I stress, as a result of those changes, who weren't working in a better off position. Now, I ask those opposite who have raised these issues if they could point us to the evidence of the last time there was major tax system change in this country, which occurred under a coalition government. Where is the evidence that the compensation measures that were put in place by the Howard Costello government did not operate? And did not work and did not leave people compensated. Now, Mr Speaker, the only evidence they'll find is that in many cases they were actually overcompensated. Mr Speaker. So those opposite like to live a few myths, Mr Speaker, and the myth they're living at the moment is that they don't understand that you can change your tax system and you can do it to help people, help Australians who are out there right now working and saving, investing, and who are being held back by their high levels of tax that they're paying. Now, we believe that can be fixed. Those opposite don't even want to turn up to the debate.